Hola, hola. I'm Trek with two Ks,
And I am 3D, and welcome to Metaverses the Other Side.
brought to you here on the Gentleman of Crypto Network. Just a heads up, this episode is before we had the idea of bringing the Twitter spaces to the Gentleman of Crypto Network. And so that's why we're talking about the stuff that we're talking about in this episode.
Exactly. But, this is why we say don't trust, verify.
You know what's funny? I was on a Zoom yesterday, and the lawyer in the Zoom literally said patent cases aren't taken that serious. And he was saying how basically once the stuff started going to court, more than likely they would just reverse the patent. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't get into it with him. I was just taking it in as far as like, I'm not a lawyer. Like, this dude is a lawyer, and he, you know what I'm saying, has his experience, and this is what he sees.
Don't get reversed, bro. Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And but the way he was arguing it was like, because, and I will say this, I don't think he actually took the time to read Reggie's patent or read the court case or any of it. So
Well, anyway,
he didn't.
I deal with Reggie is on the roadmap for meta builders, just so you know, like what we're trying to do. Like we're going straight legit, bro. Okay. But yeah,
I'm trying to understand it because I had just seen him on the weekend. But my point being is I'm very curious to see how this is going to play out in the space and how it's going to ripple across everything, right? Like even between the exchanges, between all of the layer ones, between how, we're looking at this whole thing of building blockchain related metaverses, like every which way you kind of turn around in this, it seems like something is connected or related to the patent if you look at it from that point of view. Um, which then makes me wonder, like, would the whole ETH 2.0 make the patent more enforceable on the technical end?
I think it does for sure. Yeah, I agree. It gets down to a point where it could be a call of action because it has, court, to back it up, has some form, back it up. There's an Oracle system now where they can upload documentation to prove scenarios and situations. So like Reggie can take his wallet address and validate that he owns that patent and be able to then have validators stop validating on a call to action anything that may break that patent. But he'd also have to have a code set to determine what that patent is by code. And he'd have to have a code set for every patent version he has. So in other words, he'd have to put in more patents specifically for code sets. And then he could actually get it set to where all of the type of whatever is following this one major patent with all of its sub patents, or just actually subsidiary patents or secondary patents with more specifics, how they would all affect, and then we could shut it down. But then again, like Valtic has said, there's that small chance that if someone or a bunch of people get a good enough pool that they're able to go, against the thread and take the fine from the mainnet's system, then they could try to revalidate you or whatever. But the way he just set up right now is that would be really hard to do. That's almost like a 51% attack, even though it's really not. It's just getting a validator up on the list to start getting, validation use for paid validation, whatever, and then having it set up in their configuration to look for people that has been devalidated from that patent and to revalidate that patent specifically. And then eventually you would then go into trial where on the chain in trial, non-paid validators could then determine if one is good or bad, like blah, blah, right? So then you could say, hey, who actually is in the right of the patent infringement? Is it the people, without the patent proof, or the person with the patent proof? And then you have to 51% attack that in order to be able to overturn Reggie's patent every single time. And that right there, I mean, that would be like almost like trying to 51% attack Bitcoin, in my opinion. It'd be very similar in cost.
For sure.
But now just imagine if someone uploads his paperwork with their contract address before Reggie.
Okay. So, all right. What that made me think of just now is, that would be like adding a new type of certificate application in smart contract.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine there being an actual address to your certificate. You could even send money to it. Now, I think something that we ought to consider is if Reggie really wanted to get smart about this, he goes ahead and tries to do the validator call to action thing, puts in the Oracle, puts in his data, builds a smart contract inside of his call to action address, and have it set up to where if you send money to it, you're allowed access to his patent, the use of that data or whatever. So then, he could actually get returns for owning the patent, not just a matter of, oh, I got to take you to court, bro. But with blockchain court, now he doesn't need that. We can bypass that. We can step around that and say, hey, just pay me up front, bro, and you get use.
That's automating licensing deals. That's his whole thing. That is literally his whole thing about, hey, let's make the licensing deal.
That's where people get totally confused. I don't know why it's so fucking mind blowing that you have to pay a fee to use the man's fucking genius,
That shit actually works out pretty good.
Yeah, that.
Imagine the guy who invented the DeFi protocol being used right now, if he had done something like this.
I mean, ultimately just comes down to ego, I think. And I don't know.
I think as time goes on, it's definitely going to be more ego related on how they handle things. Because the more people that actually take advantage of these types of situations, when they're like the guy who invented the first DeFi protocol got paid. I don't think he ever been paid anything for it. If he would have just made a smart contract that if you paid to the contract, it would allow you to deploy that or something similar. Yeah, he would make a lot more money. And I know from personal experience, trying to get a contract to deploy itself is hard as heck, because I tried DeFi. I tried my own DeFi protocol. Well, that was the basis of the protocol, where you would make a DeFi pool by just submitting into a contract instead of having to pay someone to actually build it each and every time. That did not work out for me. And we did that one on Tron.
Yeah.
Okay. So the protocol in regards to DeFi being a standard of smart contract. I'm saying that as a question.
Yeah.
Okay. So was it me and you talking about this? About how less than 20% of the smart contract used in Ethereum, majority of Ethereum, it only comes out of 20% of the actual GitHub repo or the smart contract setup over there. Was that me and you?
Nah.
Okay. But nonetheless, I feel like the more you start digging around and understanding the technical aspects of this technology and its applications, it's the more you discover there's ways to either throttle, funnel, totally just break or stop people's access. And I bring that up on the end of the last thing that you made the point of, if you're automating the licensing deal process and that you have that smart contract, where do you worry about? Is it the validators that would then be a method of attack to stop people from using that contract?
Yeah. Validators would be the first attack. Second attack is on if you can get an invalidation to go to court, and then you would do a 51% attack there.
Now, what if the 51% attack? Couldn't that bring down a whole metaverse basically if it was on proof of work?
So proof of work, yeah, but in the case of Ethereum 2.0 proof of stake, it's not actually a 51% attack. That's just in similar regards to it. It's ill validator attack, I think is what they call it in proof of stake, where you take a validator who has enough credit. Like say you find a corporate, like AWS has a big validator node. You paid AWS to, hey, take action for me, bro. And then they do an action for you. That's the closest thing to it. Just because the validator decides what goes on and off chain. And then if there's a contestant, someone else says, no, bro, or whatever, it goes into trial on Ethereum 2.0. And in trial, the validators who have staked 32 ETH, they're not currently being used to validate blocks. They are basically the ones that decide in trial. So then you have more of a decentralized trial system where the non-paid validators actually make decisions. So they decide, hey, if this is good or bad. And then if you get enough trials by one single validator, you could go to validator trial. But yeah, just in the major case, the validator is your first host of attack. Your non-paid validators is your second host of attack.
Which, and I'm going to keep bringing this dude name up. Chris Blitt. He's been calling out some of the stuff going on behind the scenes with the Ethereum, the whole EVM setup, the way that the money's been moving around. And there's other things that I've seen with, what's his face? Andreessen Horowitz, and how he's moving around with the whole 6 ounce thing. Like, again, the more and more you pay attention, the more and more patterns you see. I just feel like I'm losing it for Ethereum in its current state. Proof of stake not working for me.
I'm right there with you, Trick.
Yeah, like
off subject.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kind of off subject, but not. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the guy named Brett Leonard. He's a guy who created the movie Lawnmower Man.
I know about Lawnmower Man.
That's a oldie right there.
Yeah, but the first one give virtual reality the name virtual reality. If you look up Brett Leonard and what he's doing currently, actually what he talked about 4 years ago, man, I'm more of like a futuristic thinker on this whole metaverse thing. And right now I think of the metaverse right now as like a fucking stupid game because of what I see. But if you actually know what the technology is, what, these big Hollywood people have been using and what, if that becomes available to open source, for the metaverse, it's going to probably give the whole metaverse that push that it really needs, where you don't know if you're in the real verse or the metaverse. Brett Leonard is his name, and there's it's crazy, bro. I'll drop a link. I'll send it to Douglas so Douglas can tweet out the video. But yeah, man, it's more of once the technology with 2D to 3D, no glasses comes into effect, with the whole AR VR, that's the game changer I'm waiting for. And the guy who has that patent right now, he's not selling that patent. He's already got offered billions of dollars from Apple, Samsung, and he's not selling it. So the company's called Vexy Corporation, and the guy's name's Craig Peterson, and he has the 2D to 3D, augmented, no glasses, or basically you can wear a piece of material, have this microchip in you, and you're giving people your 2D design on your shirt can now be a 3D interactive tool with a microchip. So I think that's going to fucking actually change the metaverse for me, where I'm actually going to be interested, because I'm not a gamer. I don't game at all. The whole metaverse is just a gaming thing, I believe. You know what I mean? Like for right now, that's what people are thinking of it as. But when you actually get into it on what the technology factor is, on what's coming up in technology with people's patents that just haven't released these patents, I think it's going to be a fucking game changer in the metaverse, like ridiculous. Where it's going to be, that's already out there. So the technology is already out there. It's just when it gets released. So I don't know if you guys want to check it out, but it's Vexfi, VEXFI Corporation, I believe. The guy's name's Craig Peterson, 2D to 3D, no micro or no glasses. And he's basically has built this technology to a point where it can fit inside of any TV, any cell phone, anything that can display an image. So, you can run right now. I think the technology, last time I seen it, he was running a Raspberry Pi with a motherboard with the algorithms that are changing the algorithms to basically trick the 2D into 3D. And that's where I see the metaverse actually. There's going to be a big game changer once that technology is available. You guys,
I found it. Yeah, I found him.
Yeah,
I found a site talking about it, so I'll look up into that later on. It's man, okay. You know what's crazy about that? All right, bet. I had the idea about doing and I think you're definitely right as far as like there's certain levels or parts of the technology that will need to be implemented for the I don't even want to say mass adoption, because it's not mass adoption, because
Mass
it's
use
more
case.
about
well, it's gonna
mass
be,
use case or like
gonna-
commercial success.
I think
That's more of it.
I believe it'll be more of a commercial success, which will then turn into a mass adoption because the technology is going to be expensive at first, just like, the Blu-ray fucking came out.
Mhm.
So you're going to see the companies that are going to buy this technology, and the rich people are going to be wearing the shit if it's all wearable, or, businesses are going to have their displays, instead of showing products, it's going to be just a projection of what that your product is, where you just scan your QR code. You go to the checkout, and then people come from the back warehouse and they bring you all your supplies. But as you're shopping, your orders are being pulled up, and that's going to change the game of everything: marketing, advertisement, retail, online sales. Ridiculous. Because now I could be wearing a t-shirt, a white t-shirt with a little microchip in it, and I can change throughout the day what I'm wearing, without you
Right.
without
Okay.
you
Yeah.
having to without you having to wear glasses that are VR glasses to even see what I'm even showing you,
Okay. See, I was one step back from that, where I was taking it more like, you have the NFC technology, um, or the RFID.
Yeah.
Because you get more distance in RFID. And the whole thing of using your phone, because the cameras are going to be compatible with the VR, AR technology.
Yes.
And so that's the way that I was looking at it, for like an idea that I was thinking about with, combining wearable stuff with RFIDs in it. But that's a whole, see, I couldn't even mess with that right now. Like the RFID stuff that I was thinking about, I could relatively do at my low budget end way. But like that level of, it's the microchip that has that transmission that it does in clothing.
Yes.
The whole smart clothing thing, that's smart clothing, right?
Basically, it's a smart clothing that has not been invented yet. But if you actually think, if you sit down and watch what that guy Brett Leonard talks about, and if you combine Brett Leonard, what he talks about, combine that with the owner Craig Peterson of Vexfi Corporation, you combine those two together, we change the whole fucking world.
Okay, now I gotta go watch the movie Lawnmower Man and like
No, you don't
some
even,
other stuff.
you don't have to watch
no.
Lawnmower Man. So there's an interview on YouTube. If you look up Brett Leonard with a guy named, hold on, I know these.
Also, another point of thing, the book Dark Forest. There's a whole section in the not a whole section, but the whole thing of like the smart clothes, of where your clothes reflects your like emotions, or it can send a message. That's a part of the book Dark Forest. When you said it, it just clicked to me, and I finished reading that book, I think like a month ago or something. But that's a part of that book where the dude describes a whole thing about like, there's a whole new it's a future, it's a future society thing, but like
everyone is, not everyone, but majority of the people who are in the new age, they wear smart clothes, and the stuff reflects like their emotional or mental state, as well as just like sending messages like on the back of the jacket or something, or like what your job role is, or your title.
Yeah. So check this out. There's already the clothing that has the RFIDs that are linked up to your Ethereum address. Now, if you create your own style now and you're wearing something out in the streets, you have the ownership, your RFID, you're basically carrying around your Ethereum address. Somebody can now scan your clothing and then purchase your digital clothing out in the streets where you're making money without even knowing you're making money, with people just taking your style.
Now that's a little bit more convoluted and difficult, but yeah, it's possible.
Very possible. So I just tweeted out the 2 videos. There's the VexV Corporation 2D to 3D No Glasses with Craig Peterson, and then I interviewed the interview with Brett Leonard, and the other guy's name on that. Let's see, what was it? The other guy's AI, basically an AI videographer. That guy's name is Ryan Sheffer. So if you look up Ryan Sheffer too, like that guy's created a lot of AI where you can basically generate a movie. The AI generates a movie, and it's using everybody's, it was using people's like timelines, their stories, their videos that were inputted into social media that you openly give data to. So it was scavenging the web with hashtags, looking for videos, optimizing which videos got the best views and all this other stuff. And they were creating movies off of that. And it was just,
Oh, wow.
the AI was searching the topics. Yeah, that's a video by Ryan Sheffer. He created it. It went to like some video, what was that? Where they show off the videos, award kind of things for like amateurs. But
IndieCan.
yeah, something like that. But anyways, it's award winning what he's done. Like the technology
Wait.
award winning. In the interview, they go over like what he's basically created with how his AI can scrape the whole internet, put a whole storyline together, and you wouldn't be able to tell if it was a human that built that movie or not.
Wait, Ryan Shepard?
Ryan Sheffer, Sheffer. It's in the interview with Brett Leonard that I posted on Twitter right now. The first video I posted. The interview was done about 4 years ago. But actually, if you look up Brett Leonard himself, he's the pioneer of VR, and he actually talks a lot about blockchain and how, like, there's multiple interviews with this Brett Leonard guy that were done years ago before the metaverse was even created. And they're talking about basically living in the metaverse without without it even being a word yet,
Hey, Trek. No, that might have been the dude that we met at in Austin. I'm not sure.
I don't know. You guys know how my brain works. I go all over the place and I find the most strangest shit, and then I think about it and
Does he look
see
kind
where
of
it
like
can go in the
Yoda?
future.
Does he look kind of like Yoda?
I do. Well,
Yo, Trek, the interview you did with me 4 years ago, bro, if you actually go back to that interview we did, about 75% of the shit that I predicted in that interview happened.
yeah, that is true.
That shit's crazy.
It's true. Okay.
Sorry for throwing you guys all so far off topic.
No, because I feel like there is a relation in regards to metaverses, in regards to like this whole AR VR thing, because I think that's going to be the bigger expansion of metaverses when you get it to cross into quote real world.
Yes.
And
the
technological paths are going to be AR VR. And so that's going to be an interesting thing. And then since, it's going to be a whole thing of like, well, how do you deal with the digital identity stuff? I think the conversation around how smart contracts and Ethereum as it goes forward in, development
with ETH 2.0 and all of that. Like, I think there's definitely connections in, and it just looks like ETH is getting the guided hand push. Is my
That-
take.
That's because all the corporations have already signed up using ETH.
Yeah.
They got a lot of people behind them. But I do want to point out that with ETH, like proof of stake, the ability to perform some of the more complicated actions, like he's talking about, basically, for example, just doing the whole like smart tag shirt, that when you scan the tag, you're able to purchase the shirt as in like from the contract or whatever, right? Those types of actions are easier to perform now on proof of stake Ethereum, just because like you can define more points of data, and then you could actually pay into validator nodes to help keep your stuff active. As we're like just like saying like a whole contract, duplicating a contract, on proof of work is extremely difficult. On proof of stake, it's nowhere near as difficult. So getting a contract that'd be able to handle like paying for for example, the patents to be able to use the whatever wavelength or bandwidth, whatever it's got to use in order to activate the chip inside, the other person or whatever, to be able to use the access to whatever. That contract could be written into a point where just you looking at it and then giving a gesture would then either approve or disapprove your transaction and allow you to see whatever, maybe you have a paid wall for the icon on your shirt, whatever image is on your shirt, right? So then they could just look at you doing up with their head nod, and then boom, the tech goes, okay, yep, you got enough money, you paid, you can access it, and then boom, you can actually view it. And then it could be, anything from a movie to a show to what we do on Twitter every day, to even posting, your YouTube videos, like all sorts of weird stuff, right? So I do like the fact that proof of stake, because you can define more stuff, does give more options. I just don't like how cruddy it is.
I'm laughing. Yeah. All right. Listen. So we are at the 2106 mark right now. Running a little over on the time part of it. So got to do the house cleaning as far as the whole idea behind this thing is we are talking about the different parts and the different things that are happening within what is popularly called the metaverse, even though there are blockchain related metaverses and non-blockchain related metaverses. And yes, sometimes we do get kind of lost in the tech, but we do want people to know we welcome anybody to come and join the conversation with us. And we hope that folks will share out when they do hear about this. For now, we're doing every Thursdays at 8 p.m. East Coast time, 8 p.m. To host this Twitter space, myself and 3D. And again, we're talking about the metaverse and the things that we see going on or the questions that we have about it. And on the side note of it too, is we're also trying to, for the people who are new, nobody in this room, as far as I'm aware, is new. Y'all all have been around for a while, but for the newer folks, me and 3D host a webinar that basically deals with the introductions and like the how-tos and best security practices in relation to getting into the crypto side of metaverses. And that's something we do once a month at the end of the month. So what is it? The 30th of this month, we'll have another one. You can find that on Eventbrite. It is called Metaverses, the Cliff Notes to Web3. We did a rebrand for this month. And so, yeah, basic ideas. This is the introduction stuff, a little bit of history and how you get onto the crypto related metaverses. And we're also we also have work to put together a metaverse toolbox, which is open source, free, low code, no code, and code ready options for people to be able to do building in the various metaverses. Whether you're talking about doing smart contracts, whether you're talking about doing NFTs, whether you're talking about making some kind of character, more than likely we have some platform or some tool that would allow you to do one of these things, if not like the majority of them, would allow you to do the same thing in different ways. Currently, majority of these tools are within the EVM, aka the Ethereum ecosystem, because that's where most of the development has been right now. But we do note that as we progress forward, you'll see more things in relation to like Solana, looking at Near, or looking at Stacks or Avalanche and Cosmo, because at this point, everyone wants to have their own sandbox for people to build in. And so the tools are being made. And the interesting thing to watch about how this whole Web3 thing is going is the tools are being made simpler and simpler, meaning the technical barrier to entry is being lowered, I would argue, like every 3 to 6 months. And that for some of this stuff, you do not have to know how to do any form of coding, and you can still build a smart contract, a whole 10,000 set of NFTs, a whole metaverse. It is really getting to that point. And I think the more interesting crossover part is like when we start seeing the AI stuff start really becoming more simple and like phone level simple. It's on your phone and you're able to mix and match stuff. But that's for a whole nother conversation. Just had to do that house cleaning stuff as far as like, this is part of why we're doing these things in regards to being able to educate people about what's going on in the metaverse spaces, put them onto these different tools, but also to highlight that me and 3D do building in the metaverse spaces. Our particular focus right now is the Uplift metaverse. And we have somebody that we've been doing stuff for called Spore Baby. 3D's been doing some crazy dope like 3D renderings of the plots and the structures. And we also started the Builder DAO, which that was like 2 months ago now. Wow, it's been a while.
Yeah.
Bro.
Hey, I'm getting ready to I'm still working on my almost ready to release the member DAO that goes with that. So people are going to be able to put their art in the gallery and the Builder DAO plot and do stuff with among members and stuff. Like, just more uses. And also, bro, I got 4 more likes on that tweet. Before, so I can make the 3D model of the entrance hall for the uplift entrance hall.
Yo, that one you tweeted out with the whole unicorn thing, that was pretty dope, man. What you did, like when it spinned and all that was pretty cool.
Oh, thanks, bro. Yeah. That's the whole idea, is to try to do something that is a bit different. Because I don't know, like a lot of the stuff I see, people are just doing the same stuff. And I was like, wait a minute, I can make these 3D models. What can I do with this 3D model? And now I'm pushing the limit to what the basic 3D models can do on your screen.
Well, the 3D model too, say if somebody wants to sell some of their plot on one of the video games, it'd be like an advertisement for like a real estate almost thing too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep saying it, bro. We not tourists in this thing. Like, it's just trying to get people to understand, like, we thinking and doing some things that is not necessarily common, but not everybody's catching the use case of it. Like, yeah.
I saw the use case the second I saw his tweet when he did that. I thought of all kinds of industries, not just the whole metaverse or, you can, Douglas, you really got some skills, man.
I appreciate it, bro. So,
Well, that's definitely something I'd like to get involved with. Like I said, I have to.
In fact, DM me on Twitter or hit me up on Telegram. We got to talk, bro. I got to fill you in on all kinds of stuff that's been going on in my life.
okay.
And hear the little one in the background, bro.
Oh, yeah. That's all that matters in life right now, bro.
Yeah.
All
right.
But yeah, Bobcat, if you got a plot, you want something done to it, just hit me up, bro. I got no problem, because I'm still testing how to do things. I'll help you out.
I was thinking more contributing to the DAO and like plots that we could build on for clients or something. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Heck,
We'll talk.
yeah. Because let's say once we get the Builder DAO thing, I'll actually release a paper on how to do this kind of stuff, and so more people start doing it. But there's always a way to get me to do something like this, and I'm definitely having fun trying to figure out new ways to use this tech.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, we'll get together on the different line on that for sure.
Sweet. Glad to hear it. I did submit some plans to get testing 3D printing plots and plot objects. Just wanted to point that out, that there was someone else that approached me, and it just came around, and I was like, the first thing I tried to submit was that unicorn. I redid its base and kind of went in and just like modified it so it has a stand. So hopefully that if they go ahead and, because they're going to test, they're just going to print it out for free basically, and we're going to see how it goes. And then I'm going to have to pay for them to send it to me so I can sand it down and everything. But so the whole ideal is, how much would it cost to print these things, and how big are they actually going to end up? That's what we're trying to figure out, because he's been saying, he said that he has dozens of plots, kind of like you, Bobcat, tons of plots. And he was saying, he was like, I would love to print some of these out. Like, some people do some cool stuff. Just imagine if they could own that. And I already knew what he was talking about. I was like, I'm right there beside you, bro. Like, that sounds awesome.
And then you throw the NFC or the RFID tech in it, and it's connected to what's that new fucking phrase they talk about? And I swear I hate this new shit. It's called phygital.
Oh, I don't call nothing like that, bro. It just got just got that smart tag, bro.
Like, I learned that word the other day. I was like, wait, where the fuck did this come from? When did we do this? When? Why?
The digitables is why. Like, right after the digitables thing came out on Digi, when they had the digital and collectible, whatever, someone came out with an actual product that was online and offline. Like, as in, like, if you buy the NFT, you actually get the actual 3D model. Like, I own a gun. And somewhere out there in the world, there's a toy gun of my gun. Then if I was to own, I could own that stupid, digital, or I've also heard like one that starts with the physical, digital or something like that. I think that's what you were saying. Yeah. Phygital. But yeah, those things are they're just smart tag. Okay. We're still here, and it's not like
we are
10 minutes later.
Yeah. So I still got to go back on to looking at the, doing this whole coding, finishing this coding thing tonight. Sorry.
Right.
So I don't want to hold everybody up, but I know I got to continue on with this coursework tonight. This learning the code thing, like, it reminds me of riding a motorcycle, or learning to ride a motorcycle, in that I was reading the books, I was watching the YouTube video stuff, and my homeboy said to me, he was like, yo, it's not going to come together until you actually do it. Like, you can read all the books you want to, but it's not going to actually come together until you actually do it.
You should
and that's why I feel like
you should go practice on your MySpace.
Bro, like, that's why I feel like I'm at right now. Like, I'm reading the stuff, and it's remembering what certain words mean, and like why you do certain things for the calls in a certain order and all that. It definitely.
They were definitely right. You memory is partially in what you do, right? It's not just in what you see and hear. You also got to do stuff to remember. And like, you can learn the code without knowing the process of how the code works. You can like build chains without knowing how to do the math. But if you're not doing it and you're just reading it doesn't stick the same.
Yeah, that's kind of where I can't write code. I can cut and paste code.
Shit, I'm not even at that point just yet. That like, I'm not even there. So yeah. But I do want to say thank y'all for coming out tonight. We do appreciate. Again, next Thursday, we are back here again. We're covering some new thing in relation to metaverses, asking questions, maybe giving some answers, hopefully giving people inspiration and ideas to get more involved in this metaverse stuff, in some capacity, right? Not saying go out and spend any money, but maybe just read a little bit more about it, or try to explore and figure out if there's something that you could do, right? As well as just reaching out to me, 3E, even Bobcat, ACU5, he got some crazy ideas. Then the man said things years ago that like is happening now, you know? But yeah, thank y'all, 3D.
Hey, everybody, thanks for showing up. I see this is the most we've had here. Kathy, ACU, Bobcat, you and I. So I really appreciate everybody showing up. We are definitely having fun. We're we're learning just as like some of you out there are probably learning with these. And we both, like, we all have our side ventures and fun. So go ahead and check out everybody's Twitter page and say hi to everybody. If you're reading this in the future, because this is a 24-hour recorded thing, feel free to take clips of anything you heard here. You want to hear a little bit longer because clips last, I think now 30 days or something like that. And enjoy yourself. Everybody have a great time tonight. And where you're at when you're listening to this, and enjoy.
Jordan
Peace out,
3D,
guys.
thanks, back.
All right, yo. You guys enjoy.